15 years of construction, 8 million bricks, and a 13-ton bell that cracked twice before it could ring.
This crack has echoed across London for over 160 years, the sound of engineering pushed to its absolute limits.
Built from the inside out. No external scaffolding, no workers' visible crease. The tower simply rose from the earth.
On this day in 1843, they laid the first stone of what would become Britain's most iconic structure.
Workers excavated 4 meters through London clay to create the foundation bed for Britain's tallest clock tower. Beneath the clay, a natural gravel layer would help support the tower's 2,900 tons. 3.7 meters of solid concrete would form the foundation raft, an engineering decision ahead of its time. Layer by layer, the concrete raft took shape, each pour compacted by hand to eliminate air pockets. The foundation spreads the tower's immense weight across 225 square meters of London earth. Weeks of careful curing transformed liquid concrete into a solid platform capable of supporting 96 meters of stone and iron. Anston limestone traveled by boat from Yorkshire Hesprace, 805 cubic meters to clad the tower's exterior. Pugin's Gothic vision demanded hand-carved details, every stone a work of art in itself. The first course of bricks would establish the tower's geometry. 1 millimeter of error would multiply 96 times over. Flemish bond, the strongest brick pattern known, would give the tower walls unmatched structural integrity. Staircase, weight shaft, and ventilation system rose together, the tower built as a single integrated machine. No scaffolding touched the exterior. Materials rose through the heart of the tower itself. Steam power lifted 2,600 cubic meters of brick to workers high above London's streets. Every fifth course, engineers verified the walls remained precisely vertical, no lean permitted. 850 cubic meters of Yorkshire limestone would hide the brick core behind Gothic elegance. Brick for strength, stone for beauty home. Iron cramps married the two into a single weatherproof wall. Every few days the gantry rose jacked higher as the tower grew beneath the workers' feet. Cast iron beams would carry the tower's brick floors, Victorian industrial precision meeting traditional masonry. 11 floors of cast iron and brick tied the tower's walls together, preventing any lateral movement. Herringbone brick floors between iron beams created the 11 levels where the clock's keepers would work. 334 cantilevered steps would wind through the tower's corner, each stone supporting only itself and air. At 55 meters, the clock face level seam, the tower's most complex engineering was about to begin. 4 openings, each 7 meters across, Plantarum, soon to hold the most famous clock faces in the world. Denison's gravity escapement, the heart of the clock, would keep time to within 1 second per day. A 200-kilogram pendulum of steel and zinc, engineered to beat precisely twice per second forever. 3 gear trains for time, for striking, for chiming, each machine to tolerances measured in thousandths. Weights totaling nearly 3 tons would fall through the tower's heart, powering the clock for a week between windings. Cast iron frames 7 meters across put, Jabs James of Lambeth created the massive canvas for Britain's most famous faces. 1,300 pieces of opal glass, assembled like a cathedral window to show time across London. Minute hands 4 meters long, weighing exactly 100 kilos tollers, balanced to move through wind and rain. 5 tons of precision machinery rolled through London, the world's most accurate clock en route to its tower. The most delicate lift of the entire project, 5 tons rising 55 meters without a single bump. Into position, the clock mechanism took its place, where it would tick for over 160 years. The pendulum hung, 4.4 meters of precision, ready to beat twice each second for eternity. Merely 3 tons of iron weights countered, hanging in the tower's heart, ready to fall for a century. 7 meters of iron and glass, the first dial rose to take its place, facing north across London. Secured with iron bolts, Queen Victoria's name inscribed around a dial, destined to outlast her reign.
South, east, west, all 4 faces installed, the tower could finally show time in every direction.
Concentric shafts, precision bearings, the mechanism must move 8 hands against London's weather.
400 kilograms of hands per dial, engineered to move through every storm London could deliver.
Gas lamps behind opal glass tea. The clock faces would glow through London's darkest nights. May 31st, 1859, the first tick of a clock that would count time for over a century.
16 tons of molten bronze, the first great bell would require the largest bell casting Britain had ever attempted.
A perfect pour, or so they believed. 16 tons of bronze taking the shape of Britain's voice. From clay and fire emerged the largest bell in Britain, but its true test still awaited. The first strike rang across London, but within months, a 1-meter crack silenced Britain's bell.
Blame flew between designer and founder companies, but one thing was certain: the bell must be recast.
Whitechapel Bell Foundry, makers of bells since 1570, accepted Britain's greatest bell-making challenge.
April 1858, fingerprint, 13 tons of bronze flowed into the mold that would become Big Ben.
Smaller but perfect, 13.7 tons of bronze emerged, ready to ring for centuries. 16 white horses pulled 13 tons through cheering crowds. London welcomed its new voice.
Too large for the internal shaft, 13 tons would rise outside the tower, then swing into the belfry.
Inch by agonizing inch, the heaviest bell in Britain rose toward its eternal home. At 55 meters, the bell turned toward an opening just barely larger than itself. Through the arch, the bell entered its belfry, where it would remain for over 160 years. Fixed in place forever, Big Ben would never swing, only receive the hammer's 200-kilogram strike. 4 quarter bells joined Big Ben. Their combined notes would create the most famous chime on Earth. Cables linked clock to bells. When the mechanism released, London would hear time announced. July 11th, 1859, Big Ben's voice rang across London for the first time. Months after first striking, a crack appeared, lad. Big Ben's voice changed, but did not die. Above the stone, cast iron would rise another 35 meres, the Gothic crown of Britain's clock tower. Cast iron from Lambeth, Jabez James metalwork would crown the tower at 96 meters.
Hundreds of Gothic iron tiles, each hand-finished, transforming structural iron into architectural poetry. Gold leaf on iron baileys, the tower's crown would catch sunlight visible from across the Thames.
Crace and Son painted the 4 nations' symbols quaintest. England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales united on one tower. The Ayrton Light, a beacon to show London that Parliament was in session after dark. The prison room tattered. Even law-breaking members of Parliament would feel the tower's Gothic authority.
Below the clock, archival rooms would protect parliamentary records from fire that destroyed the old palace.
16 years of work now faced final inspection. Every brick, every gear, every bell verified. Pre-decimal pennies atop the pendulum, each coin adjusts the clock by 2/5 of a second per day.
The gantry descended, and London finally saw the complete tower that would define their city. After 16 years of dust, the Yorkshire limestone emerged sand gold and gleaming. Construction yards became Parliament's grounds, the tower now framed by Barry's Gothic vision.
And winding every week, bells chiming every quarter hour, the tower was ready for eternal duty.
From that first official strike, London set its watches by the bell they called Big Ben. Pugin never saw his masterpiece completed. He died 7 years before Big Ben first struck.
Decades past the Thatches, London transformed around a tower that never stopped keeping time.
Through the Blitz, Big Ben struck on. A sound of defiance broadcast to occupied Europe.
2022, the largest restoration in history, returned the tower to Victorian splendor.
Today's keepers wind the same mechanism, adjust with the same pennies, Victorian engineering enduring into our time. From construction site to world icon, the most recognized building in Britain, perhaps on Earth.
16 years, 8 million bricks, 13 tons of bronze of Cofford, compressed into one breathtaking transformation.
From rubble to majesty, 16 years of human determination now stood 96 meters tall. Final perfection. Craftsmen whose names history forgot, whose work would endure forever. 96 meters of Victorian ambition, the tower that would become the voice of Britain itself. From that first strike, London set its rhythm by a bell that would ring for over a century and a half.
The most recognized building on Earth, built by hands that history forgot, for generations they would never meet. Through wars, coronations, and revolutions, the clock never stopped, the bells never silenced.
2022 revealed the original colors Adi, Prussian blue hidden for over a century, restored at last. Today's keepers wind the same mechanism with the same tools. Victorian precision enduring into our time.
From London landmark to global icon, the most photographed building in Britain, recognized everywhere on Earth.
4 glowing moons over London, the dials visible for miles, marking time through the darkest nights.
334 steps to greet each dawn, the tower that never sleeps, serving the city that never stops.
The workers who built this tower, their names lost, their work immortal, their legacy standing tall.
That crack, that imperfect tone, now the most recognized sound on Earth, striking every hour for eternity.
Subscribe to Industrial Evolution for more videos exploring how the modern world is built.